Hello everyone, this is Locke and I, and welcome back to another video on the Gray Builds YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be talking about all of these cool sets and parts that I've picked up from my LEGO store trip and other trips that I've taken over the course of January 2026. This primarily will host of some new sets, some old sets, some bricks, and I even have a custom build showcase in the middle of this to do as well. So let's get right to it. First off, we're going to take a quick look at the pick-a-brick boxes. And this is just something I'd like to show off because I use a lot of these parts in my sets. A bunch of highlights from this would be purple lavender masonry bricks, and there's also some 1x2 slopes in green, which they always seem to have, but I always pick up more of when I need it. They're good for landscaping. And some golden 2x2 quarter tiles, which is pretty cool. And a bunch of leaf pieces, because you can always use a bunch of leaf pieces and many window panels. This is just going to help with some builds in the LEGO City, but now let's move on to the first of the small quick reviews we have for today. So here's the next thing we're going to be taking a look at and reviewing. This is Ninjago, the 15-year anniversary ninja character display, which surprisingly retails for only $45 in the US, which is kind of crazy if I'm going to be honest. Now, I normally don't buy or collect or even talk about collector sets or just display pieces in general, but this one I've made an exception to because I've been a fan of Ninjago since almost the beginning. I got really into it in Season 3, but started collecting some sets from Season 2 and even have some spinners from the original pilots. But in terms of this set overall, I think it's a great homage to all of the past history of Ninjago. You do get all of the ninja. You get Samurai X, which is Nia in this case, not Pixel. And you also get Master Wu. And they're all built around this rebuild of the monastery gates. And the monastery being one of the most important parts of the Ninjago TV show, I'm kind of impressed with how good this looks. The only problem I have with the build itself that would make me question whether you should get it or not a little bit is literally just the fact that the doors don't close all the way. But you could have them like partially opened, and I think it looks fine regardless. Now, since this is a 15th anniversary set, there is a lot of cool building techniques, but one that I'm going to point out that you'll see later is this cool stone lantern that uses the LEGO Minecraft shulker element to be able to create the legs for it. And I'm only pointing this out because we're going to see a build that's exactly the same as this later on in this video, so that's kind of crazy. You also get, as a bonus, the 15th anniversary minifigure of Jay's mother, the original Master of Lightning. Now, this does play into the next thing, which The next thing I bought at the LEGO store to take a look at is the Build-A-Minifigures that they added to the Build-A-Minifigure wall for Ninjago's 15-year anniversary. These are a bunch of minifigures that you can go and pick up, 3 of them with some accessories for $10, which is still extremely good value. But here, I've picked up all 7 so that we can take a look at them. I've given them custom weapons, by the way. These are not the ones that they come with in the official sets. First off, we have Dareth. This is my first time getting a Dareth minifigure because he seems to only come in expensive sets, but hey, now there's an affordable way to get him. This robe is not canon to the show as of yet, but it is like a legacy version of all of the previous robes he's worn, which is pretty cool. Additionally, we have Pixel here in a casual outfit. This might be my favorite one if it weren't for the fact that the legs aren't in a dress piece instead, but that's something I probably can fix for myself down the line. We also have Nia here, using her Season 10 blue kimono outfit, which is one of the more iconic outfits that she seems to wear in the show, and I really like having this as part of my collection now. It's a fairly good recreation of that. Moving on to the other side, the other 4 minifigures we get an Oni Mistake, which was something I was not having on my bingo card for Ninjago this year, but hey, we have one now. And there's a young version of Lloyd, that Lloyd being literally the exact same Lloyd that's featured inside the character display set, so you don't need to get that one. I just did for completionist's sake and because it's pretty cool to have a young Lloyd. Additionally, we got young versions of Aaron and Sora that are now accurate to the TV show. These ones I would definitely recommend you pick up if you're looking to keep TV accuracy with your characters. But these are definitely really cool to get, and would I recommend the character display or these minifigures? I would say yes. Maybe not all the minifigures. You pick the minifigures that you like the most and you think are cool the most. And for the character display, It's a good value, you get a lot of minifigures, but the build could be a little bit better. So if you really like Ninjago and you want to celebrate its 15-year anniversary, this is a good way to do it, but it's not a necessity for a collection. I personally, though, am really happy to have it. Now let's move on to some of the smaller things that I've picked up. Next up on the list, we're going to quickly zoom past some of these things, because some of these items I've actually already planned other videos for, so you'll get to see those in their own videos coming out very soon. But these are the Ninjago spinners for 2026, and they work and are compatible with the spinners from 2025, but this time they're themed for the villains. Really, all I need to say about them is that I enjoy them, but not everyone will. But as I mentioned, they'll be in a future video coming up in the near future. So, with that out of the way, the other little thing you see here, I bought it for one reason. It was on sale with a light brick. And I do kind of like light brick builds, and this had some cool transparent pieces, but I can't recommend this one unless you're a big fan of like those Creator 3-in-1 builds that don't really have any meaning to them. They're just small, fun builds. And I personally just bought this for parts, but it is pretty cool, I suppose. Not a necessity for a collection by any means. Now, moving over to the next thing. This thing I kind of skipped over at the beginning of the video, but this is probably one of my favorite things so far. This is LEGO City's 2026 tractor set. And it's bigger than the last two city tractors that we got at the $20 price point, though it does not come with a trailer or a front loader or animals, so you make the decision whether it's actually worth it or not. I think it's pretty cool, and I think it's worth it. It uses a Speed Champions windshield on its side for its windshield, and it uses a really cool recolor for the Marvel mech suit cockpit cover piece to create the engine, which, yes, the engine can open up, which reveals a fairly detailed engine for a $20 set. Overall, this one I would definitely recommend if you're into cheap LEGO City sets that are for fun or you just like tractors. It's definitely a fun set. So, these are the two largest sets that I've picked up at the LEGO store this time around, and they're both dragons, which makes sense because I love collecting dragons, and these two are just awesome ones to add to my collection. First off, on this side, we have Ninja Dragon Ryu, which will be featured in an upcoming video where I showcase him against his different forms, so I'll talk about him more in that video. But also, we have the Arc Dragon of Life, or just Dragon of Life. The box doesn't specify Arc. I just think he looks like that because of the way they designed the body and the neck. But really cool to have like a nature-themed dragon, in my opinion. And he's going to get a different video where I showcase him and how I've modified him to make his posing a little bit better. But for now, I just want to showcase the side builds and some of my favorite minifigures. For the Arc Dragon of Life, we have a little side build mech for the rock monster that's like an upscaled version of him. Lots of claws, lots of cool rock elements, definitely a fun build. And the other side build for this set features the Stone Lantern, which is very similar, if not the exact same build, to the Stone Lantern that's featured in the Ninjago character display, which I think is really cool. Additionally, you get the Sword of Fire here. Glad to see that's still coming in sets, even if it's not relevant in the show right now. But, of course, for the minifigures, you get Aaron and Sora and this really fully buffed out mutation monster with all these tentacles coming out of him here. And you also get Nia in her Draconis form with the Ninja Dragon Ryu. I really like how the Draconis form ninja have like the Dragonian wings, but they also have really cool rubber molded tails. I personally really like these guys, and Nia's probably going to have those wings and the tail show up in other custom minifigures, considering they're using my favorite colors. For the Arc Dragon, though, you have the Loyalist leader. I will not spoil who they are, even though the set actually does with the alternate face. And I love the staff they're using. It reminds me of Master Chen's staff from the Tournament of Elements. Additionally, we have Lloyd and Cole in their Draconis forms. Again, Lloyd looks really good. Love those lime green wings. I might have to use those too. And my favorite villain of the wave, the Acid Snake, which is just a really cool looking guy. And he's got the old snake tail mold, a new like dual molded head. He doesn't look very villainous to me, but that might be because I love the colors of the lime green and the sort of like acid, transparent, vibrant green color. I just don't find those to be colors I associate with evil, considering they're my favorite colors, but definitely my favorite Dragon's Rising villain overall, and might be my favorite Ninjago villain of all time, too. But with that out of the way, I also picked up enough stuff to get myself the Year of the Horse set. And the Year of the Horse set is a gift purchase you can pick up in January, and it's just another Lunar New Year set, which just means I've picked up even more of them to this day. And my goal is to eventually collect all the animals of the Zodiac, so that means plenty more LEGO store trips in January to come. This is the final set that I want to showcase in this video. It's going to also have its own video, similar to some of the other things we've taken a look at. And this is the LEGO Creator 3-in-1 Haunted Mansion set, which is like a playscale recreation of the Monster Fighters Haunted Mansion set, which is really cool. I do really like this build. I mostly bought it because it's the perfect size to fit inside the LEGO City. So I'll be taking a look at this set and then refurbishing it, doing like a whole little This Old House treatment for this thing before it goes in the city. But I did want to mention that I like how creative some of these ideas were. Like, instead of giving you the vampire to go with the vampire's bride, they have you use just a little bat, so the vampire's like in his bat form. But additionally, you get not only some regular enemies like Frankenstein and the glow-in-the-dark ghost that's in there, you get a Wolverine, you get a skeleton, but you also get 2 brick-built themed monsters, which is the sort of tree monster over here, and this little brick-built ghost that hides in the second-story window. So this is a pretty cool set overall. My favorite part, personally, is that I can just, like, you know, twist this around and close the whole thing up, too. And now it's an even better size for my LEGO City. So you'll have to wait and see what we do with this house in the future, but I'm pretty happy with this overall, so let's move on and finish up this video here. So that's everything that I picked up in January for the most part. There's still a few smaller things that I haven't gotten around to building yet. There's a couple of things that I didn't want to mention in this video that you'll just see in the city, like some cars and stuff that I've bought. But overall, I think that this is a pretty good haul to start the year with. And now I can go back to my regular video schedule of just trying to make some custom builds, show them, and review sets. This took a lot of work and time to put together, so if you really like some of these things you see here, as I mentioned, there will be some videos related to the 2 dragons and a video relating to the Haunted Mansion in the future, so I hope you all stick around for that. And I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one, and I hope you all have a great day.